Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and let's talk about Christopher Perkins quitting, air quotes, the product lead position. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, so I have a completely different take than anybody on this, as per usual, because I don't think people really understand. People do not understand what's happening on Dungeons and Dragons. They don't understand what's happening on Dungeons and Dragons design. They don't understand. They literally don't. Actually, if you're looking at, listen to the people talk about the numbers on the 2024 PHB, and the biggest thing is they don't know. There's so many question marks. They literally. So we don't really. If people, I'm saying, hey, everybody. There's this super secret, that's sitting in the middle of Dungeons and Dragons. It's not really a game at all. It's a human improvement engine. And people are like, nah, that's ridiculous. No, we know all about Dungeons and Dragons. We just happen to not know anything about how it's distributed. We really don't know any of its numbers. We really don't understand why they make half the decisions they make. We don't like once you start asking people questions, it becomes super apparent that they know virtually nothing about Dungeons and Dragons. Like that they really are very legitimately not understanding what's happening on this product on and what even is it? At the most broad, you can say it's an intellectual property, but there's things that happen on it that don't match anything else in the world, right? So it's really astounding. All right, so all right, let's talk about this Chris Perkins thing, right? So Chris Perkins is saying that he's stepping down, right? And so what Hasbro has framed this as is, and by the way, just to be clear, you won't hear me talk about Wizards of the Coast anymore, right? This is all Hasbro. Wizards of the Coast means nothing. It's a sticker, like it's a sticker on the beast that is Hasbro, right? So this is all Hasbro, in my opinion. So Hasbro is saying, oh, hey, Christopher Perkins is stepping down as product lead and he's becoming creative lead, right? Now, first of all, both of those mean nothing. They have they don't serve any design. They don't serve any purpose. Okay, those two titles. What do we actually care about? We care about design lead. We care about design lead a lot, right? We're like, hey, we know what an editor is. We know what an artist is. We know what an art lead is, right? We know what a writer is. Blah, 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 right? Like, those don't, nothing's really that important here. Who's the design lead? Who's the design lead, right? Who's the design lead? Who's leading the design on Dungeons and Dragons? Who's saying, this is direction we're going, and this is direction we are not going, right? And everybody knows what that is. And if you hear, Hasbro ain't using those words at all, right? And the reason why is they have a huge problem. There has never, ever been a design lead for Dungeons and Dragons, right? There have been design leads for specific books. Amanda Heyman, Kate Wall, like True Blood Kate Wall, and I'm sorry, not Kate Wall, Deborah Ann Wall. All right, so Kate Welch, Amanda Heyman, Deborah Ann Wall, all three of those ladies have been for realsies design leads on books, on entire books, but there has never been a female design lead on Dungeons and Dragons, and this haunts them the same way the word race. I actually believe the word race being used for orcs and goblins and elves and dwarves and humans, it galled them because they present as super woke, but then race was there and it was very non-woke, right? So you had this issue where they needed to fix something, and they need to fix this. They have this huge problem. There has never been a female design lead, right? And every time you hear somebody talking about Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford, the problem is they're bog standard white dudes, the way every single design lead in the history of Dungeons and Dragons has been. There has never been anyone, right, that wasn't a Caucasian male. who has been a design lead. So they've got to fix this. Unless, right? And so here we go. All right. So what would be the one reason they might not fix it again? Right? Like 5 decades, they're like, nope, nothing but a white man can write Dungeons and Dragons. Nothing but a white man can design Dungeons and Dragons. Nothing but a white man can design Dungeons and Dragons at the head. Right? And it's a huge problem because they present super woke, but then you're like, dude, man, that's really not very woke. It's extremely base, right? Like, come on, man. Like, that's not, that's very Republican, right? Like, it's not good. It is really not good, right? And it is literally a secret in their closet, right? And they want to get rid of it, but there's some things which could make them do it again, right? What is the number one thing that could make them do it again? So Professor Dungeon Master covered this. He said the title of his video was Christopher Perkins out, is Matthew Mercer in. And that, ding, 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 winner, winner, chicken dinner. They do not want to put in another white man. Like, and the reason why is they're like, like every page in a book's got to be, like check the box Hollywood, like DEI. But here, where it really matters, you're never checking the box, right? And so so the only thing that could get them to do this again, in my humble opinion, right? Especially when they have real women who can really take the job, right? Who's on the short list, right? Kate Welch is out. I don't know what the heck happened to her. She was the chosen one, and just like Darth Vader, it went sideways, and she was out, right? And I'm not kidding. You could write a book on it, and I would buy it day one on release day, right? I'd be at the signing, right? I really would love to know what happened to Kate Welch. Not. I ain't gonna write the book, so I'm not gonna spill the tea on this one, okay? But I got some tea on this one. Like, it's a lot happened there. Okay, all right, let's keep going. Deborah Ann Wall, yeah, she could be the design lead. The other one is Amanda Heyman. Mackenzie DeArmas has the talent, but she is super new, right? And then who else? There's one more, and that's Kelsey Dion. Kelsey Dion from Shadow Dark, right? She could be the design lead for Dungeons & Dragons. That's the short list for the ladies, okay? Now the next thing, if Matthew Mercer, right, was willing, now here's the issue. Is Matthew Mercer willing to do it? First of all, he's got to sacrifice a for realsies Hollywood life to do this, right? Because it takes real time, right? And he is living in Hollywood, and he's living very adjacent to a B-list star, right? And that's a pretty good life. A lot of people work real hard to get that, right? But if he takes this job, like he's sitting in Renton, Washington, and for realsies working full time on this, I really think you need to be in the office for this job, and you need to be fully committed, right? And I will say, hey, say what you want. It's terrible that we had a bunch of white men have this job and never had anything else but a white man have this job, but they were committed. They were all freaking in, all in. Ain't none of them, doing it from home, right? Like, and they were, and none of them were doing it as a side job, right? And this is the issue: is Matthew Mercer, he's got real video games, real, Netflix is Amazon. He's got real movie studios calling him to do voice work. Now, it's voice work, right? It's not like a real, he's not like a Hollywood celebrity. He's still just a voice actor. But that's a lot of swing, right? And it's also money, right? He's making good money. At this point, I don't think voice acting makes that much money. So, so the point is, if Matthew Mercer wants this, every woman in the world can kick rocks. It's going to happen again. A white guy. If Matthew Mercer says yes, that's it. Everybody on the short list is off, right? Don't matter. Because Mercer's as close as you get to a real Hollywood star. And actually, get that. Holy cows. Deborah Ann Woll is an actual Hollywood star. Matthew Mercer wants this. Deborah Ann Woll gets kicked to the curb. It will not matter. It will not matter, right? So if Matthew Mercer wants this, it's his. It's his for the taking. That is I'm positive of that, right? But by the way, but here's the issue. In my humble opinion, Christopher Perkins was never product lead, and he's not going to be creative lead. All of these is a masquerade to hide the fact that, again, they put in two white dudes, right? And that's the other thing is, oh, and you're like, Scott, well, they're saying he's product lead. Yeah, what have they been calling them? They've been saying that they were co D&D architects, him and Jeremy Crawford, right? And I think they thought that they were going to check a box with Jeremy Crawford, but he's still a white guy. It's like you're not getting away with it, right? Like, and so that's the issue, right? And so if Matthew Mercer wants this done, dunzo, he gets it, right? I think they're on the horn. I think he's already that conversation is already had, and they're saying the next time you're ready to stop voicing vampires and dedicate yourself to be the design lead on D&D, you can do it, right? But he's got to give up real celebrity perks to get it, right? Because it's a real job. You cannot one-cheek this, right? And so that is what all of this is about, getting the first non-white, first non-male design lead ever, unless the uber white male wants it, and that white male is Matthew Mercer, and it's astonishing to me that this could happen again, but it could happen again. Matthew Mercer, like Hollywood, American celebrity is the most powerful force on the earth right now. It's more powerful than money, far more powerful than money, right? There's a lot of billionaires who nobody knows, and they're like, well, you got some money, but it. And what decided that? It's the Will Smith slap, right? Will Smith slapped a man right in the face, and rather than being jailed, people danced with him within the hour. Like, what? Like, you can't buy that level of power, right? And that's the issue. Hollywood celebrity is power beyond money, right? And that's why Matthew Mercer can kick like 5 women to the curb by just, and say, hey, job's mine. It's all it'll take. So that's what's happening. They're deciding if Matthew Mercer is going to be the man, right, to do it again. Another white male lead, design lead, and all of this is just masquerade. It's masquerade to solve this issue. That's all that's happening here. Product lead is not a real title. And you ain't never heard it attached to him for like, oh, I'm a design architect, or like, I've heard 15 different titles, right? And like, but and you don't hear design lead anymore because it's the only thing people care about. And there's a history, right? And so this is about history. This is about real titles, not product lead or creative lead, right? And this is about really deciding if Matthew Mercer is going to be the future of Dungeons and Dragons, or if Kelsey Dion, or Amanda Heyman, or Deborah Ann Wall, or Mackenzie DeArmas is on there. I think that's it. That's the list, right? And so we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. In that, every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.